Danny Federici. Born in Flemington, Danny Federici learned how to play the accordion at 7 years of age, inspired by nothing other than the Lawrence Welk Show. After mastering classical music and vocals, he became interested in jazz and blues. He played keyboards as well as accordion. He graduated 100 Central High School and eventually found his way to the Upstage Club here in Asbury Park, where he met Vinnie Lopez and Gary Talley. He met Bruce Springsteen at the Upstage. When Lopez and Federici decided to form the band Child, they recruited Springsteen to join as a guitar player and singer, along with bassist Vinnie Rossi. Child later morphed into Steel Mill, and it routinely drew big crowds here at the Jersey Shore. Federici earned his nickname Phantom following the infamous Steel Mill concert at the Swing Club in Middletown in September of 1970, which ended in a riot. He was the original organ player in the E Street Band, who played accordion as well. His gentle accordion parts are prominent on Springsteen's love song to Asbury Park, 4th of July, Asbury Park, Sandy. His organ playing is prominent on other E Street classics, including Kitty's Back, Hungry Heart, Racing in the Streets. Federici released 2 solo albums, Flemington in 1997 and Out of a Dream in 2004. Danny passed away after a long struggle with melanoma in 2008. Danny Federici. Johnny Luraschi. An Upstage Club regular, Johnny Luraschi used to come to the club from his home in Belmar, sometimes with his neighbor, a young keyboard player named David Sanchez. Luraschi's older brother Eddie was a bouncer at the club. He was a bass player, and Johnny got his first guitar when he was 8. Before he came to the Upstage, Luraschi's first band was the Stingrays in 1964, and later he was a 14-year-old bass player with a surf band, Artie Peloso and the Surf Tones. After the Upstage days, Luraschi played in a series of Asbury bands, including Billy and the Kids, Sonny Ken Blues Band, Cahoots, Cold Blast and Steel, the George Cease Band, the Disco Rejects, Hot Romance, Whistler and the Wheels, the Nicky Adio Band, the Fabulous Z Band, Steel Mill Retro, and Bozo and the Bad Boys, among others. After being diagnosed with lung cancer that would take his life, Luraschi released a CD, The End of the Road, which featured a duet with Bruce Springsteen on the song Save It Up. Johnny's studio work included a Hot Romance album, a Spirit of Asbury Park record, and the Summer of '89 record. Vinnie Lopez, who played with Luraschi in the Disco Rejects and Steel Mill Retro, said Luraschi's bass playing was rock solid, and that allows the rest of the musicians to go off on their tangents. In 1967, Johnny was mentioned in the Springsteen pen liner notes on the back of Southside Johnny's first record. Johnny Luraschi. Joe Arthur Major. Born in St. Petersburg, Joe moved to Asbury Park with his mother and sister at 5. He was raised by his aunt, who owned a rooming house here in the city. He attended Bangs Avenue Elementary School and then moved to Asbury High School, where he excelled at varsity football, and he formed a great R&B group called the Marquees. Major had a deep bass singing voice and was one of the best in the area. In 1954, he managed to convince fellow student Lenny Welsh to join him in the Marquees. Welsh often credited Major with giving him his start in music. The career was short-lived, however, and some members of the Marquees, including Major, soon found them singing with Bobby Thomas and the Vines, another great R&B group from the West Side. After Major joined the Air Force, he went to work for the State Department of Corrections at Jamesburg Training School for Boys. He also resumed his singing career, this time with Ron Coleman and the Uniques, a vocal group that would evolve into the Broadways. Major left the Uniques in 1961. He was only 38 when he passed away in 1978 from complications due to diabetes. Inductees. Much thanks for Charlie and Pam Horner of the Classic Urban Harmony for Joe Major's biographical information. Ladies and gentlemen, Joe Arthur Major. Arthur Morris, one of the unsung heroes of Asbury Park's music scene. Arthur played a major role in the development of music in the 50s and the 60s here in Asbury, serving as a mentor to many of the young performers on the city's west side. He was born in Willitson, Florida, near Gainesville. He was a migrant worker, coming to work in apple orchards in Colston. He grew fond of New Jersey, and he decided to move here in 1948. He settled in Asbury Park on the west side. In the late 40s, he formed his first gospel group. The group, the Golden Harmonaires, became a popular singing group with Morris singing lead. In 1950, he approached the Asbury Park radio station WCAP, which later became WJLK, and he asked if he could do a weekly gospel program. The station agreed, and the gospel train he hosted the Gospel Train from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays. The program featured live songs by the Golden Harmonaires as well as gospel records by the Dixie Hummingbirds, the Soul Stirrers, and the Swan Silvertones. The show was very popular here in Asbury Park, and he began promoting his own gospel programs in churches and schools. Morris was also a community leader, known as the unofficial mayor of Asbury Park's west side. City officials called on Morris frequently whenever an important person of color, be it Dr. Martin Luther King or Jackie Robinson, came to visit Asbury Park. Morris was the man to show them around the city. Arthur Morris passed away in the mid-1960s. Ladies and gentlemen, Arthur Morris. Tom and Margaret Potter. They were hairdressers and music lovers who in 1968 changed the face of music in Asbury Park when they opened the Upstage Club above a Tom and Pan shoe store on Clifton Avenue and Bond Street. The second floor housed the Green Mermaid Cafe, while the third floor contained a large room with a bank of speakers on the stage. The music started at 9. And Margaret Potter's band, Margaret and the Distractions, were the house band. At midnight, zoning law required that the club close down and clear out the crowd for a while, before reopening on the third floor for an all-night jam that would last till 5 a.m. Here, Jersey Shore musicians gathered to hone their skills, with musicians like Bruce Springsteen, Ricky DeSarno, Bill Chinnock, Billy Ryan, Vinnie Mad Dog Lopez, Big Bad Bobby Williams, Kevin Cavanaugh, Gary Talent, Danny Federici, Steve Van Zandt, David Sanchez, and others joined in loose-knit groups to jam all night. Upstage is really the birth of the Asbury music scene. The whole idea of the Jersey Shore had to say something musical. Musicians were drawn to the Upstage because it was a place that they were allowed and encouraged to experiment and to try new things. The club was a little bit like Haight-Ashbury in Asbury. It closed for good in October 1971, but its influence and its legacy lives on to this day. Tom and Margaret separated shortly after the club closed, and Tom relocated to Florida. Margaret maintained a beauty salon in Asbury, and later was one of the founding members of the musicians organization SOAP, the Society of Associated Performers, which worked to preserve Asbury music legacy, improve conditions of performers, and raise money for charity. Margaret Potter died in 1993, and Tom Potter passed away in 1997. Tom and Margaret Potter. Moe Septee. Born Moe Septee in Poland in 1925, Moe Septee came with his family to New York in 1928. He was advised to change his name if he wanted a career in entertainment, and he became Moe Septee. He worked in radio and television, and he had a public relations firm in Newark before he began producing classical music concerts at the Moe Theater in Newark and at the Philadelphia Academy of Music. In 1961, Septee brought Judy Garland to Newark where she played to a packed house. He booked Joan Baez, then he met Bob Dylan and he booked him twice. In '64, Moe brought the Beatles to Philadelphia. The year before, Septee, whose family had been suffering in Belmar, decided to go to Deal, New Jersey. When he was living in Deal, he noticed Convention Hall, that's still there on the boardwalk, and he began producing pop shows in partnership with a gentleman named Felix Gertzman. Their first season wasn't very successful. People like Ella Fitzgerald, David Brubeck didn't sell a lot of tickets. But when he brought Peter, Paul, and Mary to Convention Hall, that did sell tickets. And Septee realized that by appealing to a younger audience, the summer concert series could be a success. In 1964, he debuted The Summer of Stars at Convention Hall, which brought the biggest rock names to that 3,500-seat venue. Bands such as The Who, The Rolling Stones, The Doors, The Dave Clark Five, Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin, The Temptations, Otis Redding, The Supremes, Black Sabbath, The Beach Boys, James Brown, The Byrds, Ray Charles. They all played Convention Hall. On the eve of August 16th, 1969, Led Zeppelin played Convention Hall when they refused to play Woodstock. Because Moe paid them more money. And I guess that really didn't hurt their career, did it? Septee was a hands-on producer, distributing posters, selling tickets for the box office, and hiring off-duty Asbury police to provide security. By '74, Septee was being challenged by a young promoter by the name of John Sherry, who booked shows in the casino that summer while Septee booked Convention Hall. Septee bowed out of the concert promotion business in Asbury Park in 1975, giving way to Sharon. He became a theatrical producer, bringing shows like Yentl, Bubbly Brown Sugar, and Richard III with Al Pacino to the stage. Septee was 71 when he passed in 1997. Moe Septee. Inductee. The big man, Clarence Clemons. Before he became the big man in Bruce Springsteen's main onstage foil, Clarence played with Little Melvin and the Invaders, and later joined Norman Selden and the Joyful Noise. Clarence was originally from Norfolk County, Virginia, and he moved to New Jersey with his first band, the Vibratones, which played James Brown covers. Clemons, who had once had a tryout with the NFL Dallas Cowboys, missed another tryout with the Cleveland Browns after suffering serious injuries in a car accident, taught emotionally disturbed children at the New Jersey Training School in Jamesburg from 1962 to 1970. Selden's band, The Joyful Noise, recorded an album featuring Clemons and played frequent gigs at Asbury Park's Wonder Bar, which is still there today. Clemons' meeting with Springsteen is now the stuff of legend. The sax player was playing the Wonder Bar when Joyful Noise lead singer Karen Cassidy convinced him to go see Springsteen, who was performing with his band several blocks away, right over here, at a place called the Student Prince. On a dark and stormy night, Clemons opened the door and the door blew off. Or so the legend says. Clemons sat in with Bruce that night, and Bruce later jammed with the Joyful Noise on at least 2 occasions before he asked Clemons to add tenor saxophone to Blinded by the Light and Spirit of the Night. When Springsteen went on the road to support the record, he called Clemons to join his band. thus became a memorable musical partnership that resulted in Clemons contributing iconic saxophone parts to Springsteen's songs like Jungle Land, Badlands, The Promised Land, Thunder Road, The Ties That Bind, Drive All Night, Sherry Darling, and many, many more. Besides his work with the E Street Band, Clarence recorded with many other artists, including Jackson Browne and Aretha Franklin. He also recorded with a diverse group of artists, including Lady Gaga, Roy Orbison, Luther Vandross, Southside Johnny and the Asbury Jukes, Ronnie Spector, Janizian, Twisted Sister, and Clarence Carter. Clemons, who at one time lived in Seabright, owned the Red Bank nightclub Big Man's West in the early 1980s, where he performed frequently with his band, Clarence Clemons and the Red Bank Rockers. And their lead singer, J.T. Bowen, is here tonight. He was a member of Ringo Starr's All-Star Band in 1998, and Clarence and his band, the Temple of Soul, released 2 volumes of Live in Asbury Park in 2002 and 2004, recorded right here at the Stone Pony. Clarence was also an actor. He had parts in several films, including New York, New York, Blues Brothers 2000, and Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. He was widely recognized as one of the most iconic saxophone players in the history of rock until he passed on June 18th, 2011. The same day that Arthur Pryor passed 69 years prior. Ladies and gentlemen, Clarence Clemons. Ladies and gentlemen, the first inductees of the Asbury Angels. Thank you so much. Coming up in a few short minutes, Mark Ribbler and Friends, 50 Licks, in celebration of the music and the history of the Rolling Stones.